Why would a US Navy ship stay silent? A swarm of Iranian suicide drones is closing fast. No missile leaves the deck. No cannon lights up the sky. No explosion shakes the Strait of Hormuz. Then one drone suddenly burns. It wobbles, drops, and disappears into the water. Then another, and the strangest part is this. Almost nobody hears anything. It is just before dawn over Hormuz. The sea is black, flat, and tense. USS Ponce moves through the narrow waterway. Every radar screen is watching the horizon. Every crew member knows the same thing. One mistake here can become a global crisis. Then the first small shapes appear, low over the water, fast enough to be dangerous, cheap enough to be expendable. They are not fighter jets. They are not anti-ship missiles. They are small suicide drones. And they are flying straight toward the ship. At this moment, everyone expects the obvious response. A missile should launch, a gun should fire, a wall of metal should fill the air. But that never happens. There is no smoke trail. There is no shockwave. There is no dramatic blast above the sea. Instead, something invisible reaches across the distance. A focused beam of light touches the first drone. Not like a bullet, not like a rocket, like heat finding one tiny weak point. Inside the drone, the electronics begin to fail. The circuit board overheats. The control system stutters. The wings shake. Then the machine falls out of the sky. A $10,000 drone is gone. And the shot may cost about $1. That is the part that changes everything. Because modern navies are not just fighting weapons, they are fighting math. If a cheap drone forces an expensive missile, the drone has already created a problem. But what happens when the answer is light? What kind of weapon can strike almost instantly? What kind of system ignores bullet drop completely? And how can one invisible beam flip war's cost equation?
To understand that, we have to slow this moment down.
Start with the battlefield itself. The Strait of Hormuz is not open ocean. It is a narrow pressure point. Ships pass through it every day. Oil moves through it every day. Tension lives inside it every day. So when USS Ponce moves through that water, it is not just patrolling. It is sitting inside one of the most watched choke points on Earth. At first, nothing looks dramatic. The ship is steady. The sea is quiet. The horizon is still dark. Then the radar begins to change. A few small contacts appear low over the water. They do not look like fighters. They do not move like missiles. They are smaller, slower, cheaper, and harder to respect. That is exactly what makes them dangerous. A single drone is not the real nightmare. One drone can be tracked. One drone can be targeted. One drone can be stopped. The problem begins when they arrive together. 5 contacts become 10. 10 become a cluster. The cluster becomes a moving wall of cheap machines. Each one is expendable. Each one only needs one lucky path. Now the ship faces a brutal math problem. It can use expensive missiles. It can fire defensive guns. It can spend high-value weapons on low-cost targets. And technically that might work. But every shot changes the equation. If a $10,000 drone forces a massive defensive response, the drone has already done damage, not by impact, by cost. This is the hidden pressure behind swarm attacks. They are not built to look impressive. They are built to stretch decisions. They force operators to choose fast. Which target is closest? Which one is real? Which one is bait? Which one gets through first? In a crowded sky, hesitation becomes dangerous, but overreacting can become expensive. Though the drones keep coming, low, quiet, and stubborn, they skim over the dark water. They close the distance in small increments. On screen, they are just symbols. In reality, each symbol is a machine with a motor, battery, camera, and guidance system. It does not care about surviving. It only cares about reaching the ship. This is where the response becomes strange. The USS Ponce does not answer with thunder. No missile punches into the sky. No cannon throws metal across the water. No bright trail marks the interception. Instead, the ship uses something far less dramatic, but far more unsettling. It locks a laser onto the first drone. The system does not need to hit like a shell. It does not need to explode nearby. It only needs to stay focused. A beam of energy holds on one vulnerable point. The drone keeps flying for a moment. Then heat begins to build. Plastic softens. Sensors strain. Internal parts stop behaving normally. The machine starts losing itself. From the outside, it looks almost unreal. The drone does not vanish in a fireball. It simply begins to fail. Its flight path bends. Its wings shake. Its control system struggles to correct the drop. Then gravity takes over. The first drone falls into the water. A second one follows. Then a third. And that silence matters. Traditional air defense is loud. Missiles roar. Guns crack. Explosions mark the sky. Laser defense feels different. It is clean, precise, and almost invisible. The destructive force is not in the noise. It is in the focus. That is why this moment feels less like old warfare and more like a physics lesson with consequences. But how does a beam of light do that? The basic idea is simple. LaWS does not destroy by impact. It destroys by concentrated energy. The The system generates electrical power. That power becomes directed light. The beam is aimed through tracking optics. Then it is held on a weak spot long enough to raise the temperature. That weak spot matters. A drone is not a solid block of steel. It is full of fragile systems. Cameras need clean lenses. Guidance units need stable electronics. Motors need working controls. Circuit boards hate heat. Batteries hate stress. When enough energy lands on the right place, the drone does not need to be blown apart. It only needs to stop functioning. This is the major break from older weapons. A bullet must travel through space. A shell must follow a path. A missile must chase, adjust, and intercept. Those weapons must account for speed, distance, angle, and timing. A laser works on a different logic. Light moves at about 300,000 kilometers per second. On this battlefield, that feels almost instant. That means the system does not fight the same way. It does not predict a long ballistic arc. It does not wait for a projectile to arrive. It locks, tracks, and heats. If the beam stays stable, the target starts losing the fight. Not because something crashes into it, because energy is being delivered faster than the drone can survive. This is why the $1 shot matters. It is not just a catchy number. It represents a completely different defensive economy. A missile leaves the launcher forever. A shell leaves the barrel forever. But a laser shot is mostly electricity. The ship does not spend a complex interceptor. It spends power, cooling, and system time. Now compare both sides. The attacker loses a drone, its electronics, its camera, its motor, and its assembly cost. The defender spends a tiny amount of energy. That flips the old problem. The cheap attacker no longer automatically forces an expensive response. The ship can answer cheap with cheaper, and in modern warfare that is huge. Still, this does not make lasers magic. The beam must stay on target. The tracker must remain steady. The system needs power. It needs cooling. It needs a clear enough line of sight. If too many drones arrive at once, the challenge changes again. The question becomes timing. Which target gets burned first? Which one waits? Which one slips closer? That is why this story is not just about a futuristic weapon. It is about a new kind of contest. On one side, cheap machines try to overwhelm attention. On the other, directed energy tries to make defense repeatable. One side bets on numbers. The other bets on speed, precision, and cost. So yes, the laser looks like the perfect answer. It is fast. It is quiet. It is cheap per shot. It ignores bullet drop. It can burn fragile electronics without dramatic explosions. But that raises the bigger question. If this beam is so effective, why has it not replaced every missile? And if America can shoot with light, how does Iran change the game? The answer starts with a simple reversal. In the last moment, the drone was the victim. It was tracked, heated, and dropped into the sea. But zoom out, and the picture changes. That cheap machine was never meant to look powerful. It was meant to make power expensive. That is the dangerous trick behind low-cost drones. They do not need to sink a ship. They do not even need to survive. They only need to force a reaction, a missile launch, a radar shift, a crew under pressure, a defense system working harder than planned. If the ship spends too much, the drone wins a little. Now imagine that problem multiplied. One drone becomes 10, 10 becomes 50, 50 becomes a moving cloud over the water. Each aircraft is small, each one is cheap, each one can be replaced, but the ship cannot treat them like background noise. Every contact might be real. Every path might matter. Every second becomes a decision. This is where cheap starts to become dangerous. Not because one drone is unstoppable. It is dangerous because the defender must respect every drone. A $10,000 machine can still create a $1 million problem. It can pull attention away from other threats. It can drain defensive weapons. It can force commanders to act before certainty arrives. That is the cost trap. Old air defense was built around rare, high-value threats. A missile was expensive. A jet was expensive. A launch was serious, so the response could also be expensive. But drone warfare changes that rhythm. The threat is smaller, the price is lower, the number is higher, the pressure lasts longer. So if a ship fires an expensive interceptor, it may survive. But it also enters the attacker's game. The attacker spends little, the defender spends more. The attacker repeats the move. The defender repeats the cost. Over time, the math becomes the weapon, and that is why LaWS matters so much. The laser does not just destroy a drone, it attacks the entire cost strategy behind it. When each shot is mostly electricity, the old trap weakens. The ship no longer has to answer cheap with expensive. It can answer cheap with cheaper. That changes the mood on the battlefield. It changes the pressure inside the combat room. Think about what that means. The drone is still coming. The risk is still real. But now the defender has a repeatable response. No missile leaves the launcher. No limited interceptor disappears forever. No massive blast announces each shot. The ship uses power, tracking, cooling, and time. That is a different kind of endurance. This is why the laser feels so unsettling. It does not look like dominance at first. It is quiet, it is narrow, it is nearly invisible. But it turns the fight into something colder. A machine appears. The beam holds. Heat builds. The target fails. Then the system moves to the next symbol. Still, this is not a magic shield. That is the twist. A laser can be fast. A laser can be cheap per shot. A laser can ignore bullet drop. But it still needs control. It needs a steady track. It needs enough time on the target. It needs the beam to stay focused. The target keeps shifting. The job gets harder. And if too many drones arrive, the problem changes again. The laser may beat one target cleanly. It may beat several targets in sequence. But a swarm is not just a pile of machines, it is a timing problem. Which drone gets burned first? Which one is closest? Which one is bait? Which one slips forward while another draws attention? That is why the drone is the wolf in sheep's clothing. It looks small, it looks cheap, it looks almost disposable. But behind that simple shape is a strategic question. Can a navy defend every second? Can it pay the right price? Can it stop machines that do not fear failure? This is not a contest of size anymore. It is not battleship against battleship. It is not just missile against missile. It is numbers against precision. It is cheap hardware against directed energy. It is saturation against focus. One side tries to fill the sky. The other side tries to make each answer almost effortless. And that changes how we think about power. The strongest weapon is not always the loudest. The most important system is not always the biggest. Sometimes power means making the enemy's plan uneconomical. Sometimes power means forcing every cheap attack to fail. That is the real value of LaWS. It turns light into a financial defense. It turns electricity into tactical patience. It helps a ship keep fighting. It saves precious interceptors for bigger threats. And in a place like Hormuz, that matters. Because threats can appear quickly there. Decisions can stack up fast there. And the cost of hesitation can be enormous. But Iran would understand this too. If one drone can be burned, spend more. If one path can be tracked, create several paths. If one beam must stay focused, divide its attention. The answer to precision is often saturation. And the answer to saturation is cheaper precision. That is the arms race hidden inside this scene. It is not science fiction. It is accounting with consequences. How much does the attacker lose? How much does the defender spend? How many times can each side repeat the move? Those questions can decide outcomes before impact arrives. So the real battle is not only in the air, it is inside the equation. The drone tries to make defense expensive. The laser tries to make defense sustainable. The drone says, spend more than I cost. The laser answers, not anymore. And that is why this silent beam matters. It does not just knock machines into the sea. It changes what cheap attacks can force. But if the attacker sends enough drones, the question returns. Can light keep up with numbers? And if it can, who controls Hormuz next? That is the lesson hiding inside this silent fight. The swarm arrives with numbers. The ship answers with focus. No missile streaks upward. No cannon tears open the morning. No fireball announces the victory. A beam holds, heat builds, and another machine falls. That image is easy to miss. It does not look like classic naval power. It does not shake the water. It does not light up the whole sky. But it may change the equation more deeply, because in Hormuz, survival is not enough. The real question is endurance. Can a ship keep defending itself all day? Can it face cheap threats again and again? Can it protect the waterway without burning through rare weapons? That is where LaWS becomes more than hardware. It becomes a new kind of pressure. A $10,000 drone comes in low. A $1 shot meets it with light. The drone loses its motor, camera, battery, and control. The ship keeps its missiles for bigger dangers. That is not just a tactical win. That is a financial reversal. And in the Strait of Hormuz, that matters. This narrow waterway is more than blue water. It is a global pressure valve. Ships move through it. Energy moves through it. Political tension moves through it. Every small engagement carries a larger shadow. So the silent beam tells a bigger story. Future naval defense may not sound like thunder. It may sound like almost nothing. Target appears, a system locks, a beam focuses, heat rises, the threat drops. Then the ship turns to the next one. That is the power of directed energy. It does not need the loudest explosion. It needs the best equation. It makes cheap attacks less efficient. It makes defense more repeatable, and it forces the attacker to rethink the swarm. So if one invisible beam can reverse battlefield math, what happens next? Do drones become faster? Do swarms become larger? Or does light become the quiet shield around modern fleets? The next battle for Hormuz may not begin with noise.
It may begin with silence.